we see, like, some things are red flags, okay? I saw someone say the other day, they saw red flags and it looked like 6 flags. So they stuck around. But so I think that we have to sometimes see, like, I think prayer and the Holy Spirit, sometimes we have to see things through, like, maybe the lens of the Holy Spirit to really know who's who. You know, really expose this person to me, because people are always going to show us their best. But I think it's something when someone says, you know, I recognize that this is a problem for me, but I really want to grow. And I think when we really start to see that person evolve and that evolution, I think that's when it was like, you know, it was worth sticking around, because this person really isn't who they used to be, and I'm not either. But there was a commitment to say, I know I have to work on this. But I think it's when people say, this is who I am, this is always who I've been, that's when you can begin to say, maybe this is not something I am able to commit to. But when you see that there is literally steps of change, and sometimes steps are still progress, right? And so, you know, people go at their own pace, but when I see that there's steps, because this person is just committed as I am, and I'm making changes because I'm just committed as they are, that's ultimately something that I can commit to that.
And I feel like the turn and run thing too is, to allude to social media, it's like people think they have options. There's plenty, you know what I mean, of options out there. So I can switch and go to any person I want to. If this is causing me a little bit of pain, a little bit of inconvenience, then I'm out of here. And also, there's not, like I heard you say something about how your mom was giving you like little, you know, pointers and helping you work through that. Like the community, I feel like with marriage, which is why I feel like this podcast is so important, because I don't always feel like there's a community of elders that are pointing into their children and being like, you know, you need to stay, you need to, because I know like a few stories I've heard before of like a spouse, a wife saying, you know, my husband did this and I'm ready to go, and then the mom is like, okay, well, just wait, you know, just have patience, because, you know, that generation was used to like committing and cooking in the oven. Now we have microwaves and you know, we have quick things, air fryers, you know, so it's not about like the long haul, it's about quick, you know, no, that's not working out, okay, I'm changing it quick, you know, kind of thing. So also that it's a new day.
My mom saw me, and she told me, because, you know, I was real friendly, and I just had a guy, they were just friends, and my mama told me, she said, if you don't mean that boy any good, leave him alone. She said, he's a nice guy. And so that's all it, you know,
like, wait, whoa, let me pay attention to that.
So, yes, because so you're right. The community does need to be in it, so that we see somebody, you know, especially with you two.
For me, yes, please.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give my opinion, whether you take it or not.
And I'm gonna do a background check to make sure.
Please do.
But let me explain. The help with the moodiness was the advice that her mom gave her was that don't get sucked into it. When you say he starts being like that, just start to say, okay, I'm going over so and so and so and so, come in and sing a little song, and if he's not in the mood, go do something else. Don't let him suck you into it. But when you're sitting there trying to control something and there's nobody there to control, I start scratching my head and saying, the problem is with me. So I had a friend that I could talk to. Man, he prayed for me and rebuked the spirits and you name it, and it helped me get straight. So that's that. Now when I get tired, I just start cutting up and laughing. But it was learning that it was me being selfish and not really wanting I wanted the best, but I didn't know how to give the best. And that's important by having community, which is a secret, a trick of the enemy, is to break down that bridge between us, so that young people feel like they're too old, they don't understand, or what they did back then, we don't need to do now, because we are whatever we are. Okay. Take that, run with it.
I agree that with what Alicia said as far as community, and I think that, if I'm honest, what it seems to be sometimes is that there's this really wide separation between, there's a community of singles and then there's a community of married people. And there seems to be a divide where it's like we communicate together
with each other.
and then the married people communicate with each other. But there seems to be I'll be honest. I'm being transparent on the podcast. Okay, I've sometimes, and I've told Alicia this, that I've always sometimes had this idea, like, I don't know if married people care about the singles.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because I think that people have sometimes, and maybe that could be, and I think maybe because there hasn't always been a really strong bridge that made singles feel like, because I'm like, are people praying for the singles, because the singles are still single, you know? So
Singles
it's like
are still single.
the singles are still single. You know, we're trying to get you booked again for conducting weddings. You know, we're trying to fill that calendar. We're gonna fill that calendar.
Put it on the calendar. Get the colors right.
Those weekends back up, but it just seems that there's just been a really great disconnect, and I think that is coming from sometimes it's like people feel like that singles are so available to just do anything, but the truth is, you know, sometimes people are busy, you know, but I think that there's just been a disconnect. And of course people say, well, you know, you all just go pray and go do this, but I'm just wondering, are there people, because I feel like I found myself praying for marriages, because when I get married, I want there to still be strong marriages standing, so that I know that I can go to a couple to glean from them. So I wonder if people are praying for the singles to find spouses, because I mean, we want to be able to divide some things and, you know, build a life with someone. But I think that there seems to just be kind of a great divide. And it just seems like these two communities have kind of separated in a sense where it's like, well, we're over here in our land, they're over there in our land, and they are blissful and happy. And I don't know if they assume that we're not, but it just seems like there hasn't been always a great intention to pour into those who are single. And I think that is something that has gone lacking, because people just say, well, go pray, go pray, go pray. But I think sometimes,
because that's the easiest thing to say.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to tell me, because the truth is, when you're on this journey, you know, while I'm sure there are great potential spouses out there, you know, there's a lot of work that has to be done. It's like we have no control over this area, but I think that it would be nice to have support, or even if it's just prayer, to know, like, someone who's saying, and I think that's why this podcast is important, and is that we really do want to see singles thrive, and we want to feel like we are pouring into you in a way that you know that you have our support as you one day hopefully transition to marriage.